This is A Groom for Carrie, part of the Blizzard Bride series, Book 5, written by Marie Higgins, narrated by Jamison Walker, published by Bar 26 Publishing, LLC, author copyright 2020, by Marie Higgins, production copyright 2022 by Bar 26 Publishing, LLC, all rights reserved. Chapter 1. Nebraska, 1878. What had once been Carrie Porter's salvation had now put her in the depths of hell. Frowning, she glanced out the window of her home, not realizing until now how life had changed so drastically in a few months. It seemed impossible that only 2.5 months ago, Last Chance, Nebraska had received the worst blizzard in history. 4 feet of snow had packed the land twice, not only killing their crops and most of the animals, but the freezing temperatures had also taken the lives of some of the people in town. The greater number of those who died were men, husbands of the women in town. Carrie's own husband had perished as well. She had relied heavily on him for support, and just like that, he was ripped right out of her life. 5 years ago, Michael Porter had taken her away from New York City and promised that they would live like kings. As newlyweds, they were in love and anxious to start a family, but they both decided that New York was not where they wanted to grow old together. When they found Last Chance, Nebraska, they felt this was their home. Unfortunately, once Michael had opened up the town's first bank, he had spent so much time there that he ignored his wife, and when their first child came a few years later, he wasn't around to help her. Carrie knew he was trying to follow through with his promise of living like kings, which was why he was hardly ever home. However, it wasn't that terrible, considering Tilly, the maid she'd brought with her from New York, had been the one who showed Carrie how to be a mother. Tilly was also the one who kept food in their bellies and clean clothes on their backs. Since Carrie had come from a wealthy family, she'd had a maid growing up, and Tilly was a godsend. Taking a deep breath, Carrie smoothed her palms down her blouse and further to the waist of her teal-colored skirt. It wasn't until she had gotten word that Michael had been frozen during the blizzard when she realized how much she had relied on her maid. Tilly had helped Carrie mourn Michael's death, as well as assisted in caring for little Parker Joe. Sadly, her son would never remember his father, but if all went well this morning, she would have another man to marry who would take on husband and father titles and responsibilities. Deep coughing from the other room brought Carrie out of her depressing thoughts. Poor Tilly.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?